All right, Marshmallow Moon Oreos. What do we have to say about this?
Well, this is a great merger of two large entities. You got NASA and the peak of American science and technology, and then Oreo cookies and marshmallows,
Yes,
and the 50th anniversary.
back when men were men and they could get to the moon using like 1960s technology, a computer less powerful than a standard graphing calculator today.
Yes. And it's just really kind of cool. And, everybody's rah rah the moon. And I enjoyed the one we did with my staring at the sun shades a couple years back. And I was like, well, I could have probably gotten some other 50th, but these were on sale and they look kind of tasty. So I thought, how scientific technology and research goes into the private sector and is, formed in the realm of a Oreo cookie.
Yeah, the Deviant historian, this was his idea. He wanted to make this video, and I was a little bit hesitant. I was trying to find a good hook for it, and basically I've determined the good way to frame this is that it's an opportunity. This 50th anniversary of Apollo 11 is an opportunity for corporations to do promotions. It's like a promotional opportunity. And that's how a lot of them are treating it. They want to tie in their products with this great event.
Well, in 50 years, nobody but America has gone to the moon. With all the circle jerk.
And in 50 years, the America hasn't gone back, except for like a couple of times in the early 70s.
Yeah.
But like in 40, the America hasn't been to the moon in 45 years. My entire lifetime and your entire lifetime.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I've never seen a human go further than like maybe a few hundred miles away from the Earth.
Yeah. And there was a lot of telecommunications and radio technology that was utilized by a company in town here.
This kind of underscores how technology is being used these days for frivolous purposes instead of for the purposes of like exploration and discovery and the advancement of knowledge. We use technology now to create nice looking graphics on an Oreo wrapper, or to create apps, where you can scan a QR code on the wrapper and you get an app, you get some kind of app on your phone that does something, that plays some kind of ridiculous Oreo game or something.
Yeah.
It's all about entertainment. It's not so much about, we don't want to do great things. We want to simulate great things.
That's a really good saying, because it's not really about substance. It's about entertainment and delusion. And
we want to create good special effects for the next Marvel movie.
Yeah.
We want to create sex robots for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Which that I do fully support, by the way. But we want to create virtual realities. Like, instead of like doing things in our own universe, like people... It's like that Black Mirror episode where they're exploring space, but they're exploring virtual space instead of real space.
Yeah.
I think that's partly because recent scientific discoveries have kind of implied that their life might actually be kind of rare in the universe. It might not be like Star Trek, where there's like a new species on every planet, like around every corner.
Yeah.
And they look just like humans, except they have like a slightly different forehead or something, or like pointed ears. And it may not even be that life is common, but it's like not humanoid. It's like different, like weird blobs and stuff like that.
Omicron Persei 8.
Yes, I am Lur. Can I crash on your couch? My lady left me. Yes. You're eating our young. The poplars, yeah. The popular, they're eating they're like little, like, it's almost like popcorn. And then one of them like grows eyes and it says "Mama," and it's like, oh my God, we've been eating babies.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But
this concept of love confuses and infuriates us. Yeah, so it may not be like that. Life in the universe might actually be extremely rare, to the point where there's maybe only a handful of planets with intelligent life, and they're so far away from each other that we'll never meet. We'll never even be able to communicate.
yeah.
So a lot of people are losing interest in space travel, and that's kind of being reflected in our science fiction, because a lot of science fiction these days, it's about like AI. It's about virtual reality. It's about
Well, hers about a guy who wants to jerk off to his phone.
it's about it's about the implications of like social media and stuff. It's about and sometimes it's about like medical stuff, but even medical stuff takes a back seat to entertainment.
Yeah.
I would say that like 90% of the technological advancement today is used for entertainment and frivolous purposes.
This is one small bag for man, one giant opening for mankind. Oh, there it is. There we are.
So, what does it look like on the inside? It's like
Looks like shit.
yeah, it's like this kind of purpley, kind of bluish, kind of sickly blue, kind of like lavender.
But this has a rocket on the back.
Oh, it's a okay. I don't know if that if you can see that on the camera, but yeah, that's what they. You know, it'd be here it is. Yeah, it's an astronaut on the moon with the flag and everything. There you go. I'll see if I can brighten it so you can see it better. Yeah, so that's what that is. Did they ever like in 2012? Didn't they do like one where it looked like a Mayan thing, like an Aztec or a Mayan thing? Because you know, like those intricate circular designs that the Mayans and the Aztecs did. I think they might have done that for 2012.
Here's the one like the outside, like that. Yeah, they.
Oh, there are different designs.
Yeah.
One is like the moon.
The first one I ate was a rocket ship.
Yeah, so there's the one that's the moon. Looks like there are 3 different designs. Now I'll try to find a rocket ship. No, another moon. There we go. And there's the rocket ship. And you know, another thing about NASA is that the guy who was the head of the Apollo project back then, Werner von Braun, a former Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
He was in charge of the whole thing. He was this guy he was too smart to kill, too smart to execute. Even though he was a Nazi, and it's kind of debatable how remorseful he was about what being a Nazi scientist and like using Jewish slave labor to get things done. It was kind of like he claimed to be, remorseful, but who knows how sorry he actually was. He was probably just happy that he was able to like get out of that whole thing in one piece and like get a free ticket to America and get to build giant rockets and go to take people to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Werner von Braun.
These are not that bad, actually.
Yeah, they're okay. I think that was called Operation Paperclip.
Mm.
They brought all of the Nazi scientists, and the Russians did that too. Right after World War II, the Russians and the Americans were scrambling to snatch up as many of the Nazi scientists as they could. Mm. And some of the Nazi scientists ended up in Russia. Mm. They weren't treated as well as the ones in America. The ones in America were like pampered and treated really well. The ones in Russia were a little bit more sternly treated. Yeah, Russia was the first one to get a person into space, the first one to get a satellite into space. But we were the first ones to the moon. And the last ones.
And the only ones.
Yeah. And now it's used as a promotional tool. Like one of the greatest achievements of mankind is being used to sell Oreos. To sell like snacks, junk food. It's lovely. And I don't know, maybe we're taking it a little too seriously. I mean, Oreo would probably say, oh, we're encouraging interest in STEM, you know. Mm-hmm. We're, tr- we're getting young girls interested in STEM because you know how much like teenage girls love Oreos. But yeah, I don't know. Does this make you want to join NASA?
No. But it's cool. I mean, it's definitely a piece of time. You know, this document.
It's a piece of something, that's for sure. No, yeah, well, happy 50th anniversary. Buzz Aldrin, I hope you're doing okay wherever you are. You're one of my favorite people in the universe.
Even more so than Neil Armstrong?
He's dead.
Well, when he was alive.
Well, he was very, like, reclusive. He didn't do a whole lot. Like, there was, like, he did, like, only a couple of interviews after the moon landing. And then he was on Bill Nye the Science Guy. He did, like, a 5-minute segment for Bill Nye.
Huh.
But other than that, he did not. He pretty much stayed out of the spotlight. And Michael Collins has taken the same route. Buzz Aldrin was a little more public about things, and he was a little more kind of like, I want to meet people and I want to get people interested in. He used to wear a T-shirt that had a picture of Mars on it, and it said, "Get your ass to Mars."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's just a cool guy. He was kind of like if Tony Stark were a real person, and if he were cool, like a cool like senior citizen guy. But yeah, like he's a very kind of an unequivocal person who's achieved something that's kind of pretty soon no one alive will have achieved.
Yeah.
So
part of me feels like there'll be commercial flight in the next 10 or 20 years, but I don't know.
Maybe commercial flight, like up into orbit and stuff, but I don't know about like the moon or Mars.
Yeah.
And eventually that's going to lose its draw, because it's like, okay, we're up in space, so what?
Well, it's like going to climb Mount Everest. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's like, okay, we get to see like the Earth. We get to see like, you know, the Earth from orbit. That eventually that's going to lose its mystique. It's going to lose its draw. People are going to be like, I want to go to the moon. I want to go to Mars. You know, eventually you're not going to be able to command, you know, 30,000 or 50,000 or however much it costs to, you know, somebody's going to say it's not worth it.
It's like $1 million.
I could just put on my VR goggles, you know, strap into my VR chair and experience the same thing virtually.
Mm-hmm.
And a whole lot of other things too. If I put on the groinal attachment and stuff.
I'm not sure if you're going to be publishing this one.
Oh, I think I will.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't see why not. I'm just talking about weightless virtual sex.
So.
That's something that's on the minds of, is this what turns you on, America? I know it is. So, anyway. Marshmallow. Oh, it's supposed to be marshmallow. To me, it just tasted like an Oreo.
Yeah, it was an Oreo with some shit.
It was an Oreo with like more of a like kind of a lavender colored frosting. But
yeah, it wasn't marshmallow.
All right. See you next time, folks.